Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, we're committed to helping you go from where you are to where you want to be. We're going to do that by helping you live with intention, helping you reshape your mindset, and helping you look at the world through a grateful lens. So thank you for listening to this episode. Hit that subscribe button so you get notifications every Monday. I'll say it every time because we all need reminders that growth, investing in ourselves, we need reminders for those things. And it's only because it matters. It's about slow progress. And these episodes and all the other things that you do to invest in yourself do add up to helping you live the way you want to be living. So this week, I'm super excited to talk about a topic, and I have some really practical examples for this, but I hope it speaks to you because this idea of growth and progress and making changes and a lot of things we talk about, we sometimes ignore the feelings that we have that maybe prevent us from actually taking the action we need to be taking. This episode is all about moving beyond your feelings. I'm not implying to not have your feelings. It's just have a plan for whenever you have to do the hard thing, whenever you have to make a choice of discipline. And I'll quickly define discipline as doing what you want now versus what you want the most. I'm going to say that one more time. Making a decision and being disciplined is about doing the things that you want now versus the things you want the most. Oftentimes, the gap between those two things, what we want now and what we want the most, are our feelings in the moment. I have a lot of people that tell me that they want to accomplish a goal. We get really committed to these habits. We get really committed to new things that we're doing. And then we feel stressed. We feel overwhelmed. We feel sad. We feel a little uncertain. But how do we get through those things? That's what we're going to talk about this week is how do you move beyond just the feelings? When it's easy, right? So when you're motivated and you're inspired, our feelings are for us. They're with us. They're supporting. They're the wind behind the sail. But we're human. And I don't want to lead you down a path of living a life of not acknowledging those moments of sad and overwhelmed and stressed and lonely or whatever your feelings may be. And as we've talked about before, healing, as we are always in a healing chapter, sometimes those feelings can come in a time and it holds us back. So being disciplined isn't just about sacrifice. And I've talked about this before, but if you don't sacrifice for what you want, the thing that you want becomes the sacrifice. And it's not a thing. It's the life that you want actually becomes the sacrifice if you aren't willing to be disciplined and just truly own and decide, what do you want now versus what you want the most? Because if what you want the most doesn't align with the simple feeling of what you want right now, you have to choose to be disciplined. And you won't always feel like doing the hard things. And you have to move beyond that. You won't always feel like waking up in the morning and going to the gym. You won't always feel like not buying something that you want in the moment. Because if you have long-term financial goals, but you also want to buy the new pair of shoes, or you want to buy, you want to go out to dinner every night. If you have financial goals, you just have to decide, what do you want now? If you want the dinner now, then want that now and put down the stress of not having what you want the most. But when you start to compartmentalize some of these things of what do I want now and what feelings do I have about why you want it in the first place? So the things that we think about are the things that we then feel, and then those feelings create the choices we make. Quick example. I'm a morning person, so waking up at 4 a.m. is very easy for me, but there are a lot of people that struggle getting out of bed. They have 5 alarms. They don't really want to get up. They prefer to stay in bed, but we make this choice to get up. And then they say, I want to have more energy in the morning and I want to work out in the morning, but I don't want to go to bed earlier. So we have to decide, do we want to wake up in the morning and feel differently, or do we want to stay up late? Because that choice, it's between you and you in the morning of, do I get up in the morning and do what I want to do, even though I don't feel like it? Because the choice that you make is from the thought you're having of purpose. Why did you set the alarm in the first place? Why do you think you should get up and work out? Why do you feel like you should read and do different things in the morning? Why did you initially have that thought? Because there was something that you wanted, that you recognized that if you did new things, you would make different choices and you would do something differently. But we have to move beyond this feeling of it's just easier to stay in bed. It's just easier to find the quick fulfillment, that little dopamine rush of just doing the thing right now to feel good, even though it goes against what I said I really wanted. And the thing about this is we build confidence when we move beyond our feelings. Doing the hard things, getting up when you don't want to, builds confidence the next time you don't want to, that you'll actually get up. But as soon as you give in to that feeling of staying in bed, even though you promised yourself at night that you were going to get up, you start to deplete this confidence that you'll ever be able to do the thing that you don't want to do. Because we're always going to be faced with having to do some things that we don't necessarily in the moment want to do, even if it's the best thing for us. We have to align the thoughts that we have to the feelings that we have and realize that the responsibility we have behind the choices we're making. I talk to a lot of people and they're trying to make new choices. We get in a really good habit. They're super motivated. They make new choices, but they haven't done the work to change the thought behind it. The difference between knowing better and doing better is purpose. So if you're laying there, or if you're wanting to make a change, and if you know you want to be doing certain things, but you just don't feel like it, think about why it matters. Think about the person that you were the day before that made the decision to try to start a new habit. Think about who's going to benefit from you actually sticking to your habit. Keep more promises to yourself. Other people around you aren't going to inspire you and hold you as accountable as you can hold yourself. Again, I, as a coach and as I get to do different things in my life, there's a ton of times that I get to help people with accountability, but self-accountability is the only accountability that actually leads you to where you want to be, because you have confidence that even in the moments that you don't feel like it, you're still going to do it. And I have a couple of examples for you of how this has become something that I recognized about myself and why I'm able to wake up early and why I have the energy I have and why I do some of the things I do. It's not by accident and it's not by luck. It's because I force myself to do some things that are good for me that sometimes I don't feel like doing. So one of the things that I do is I sit in the sauna, 145 degrees for 30 minutes. I do this probably 5 days a week consistently. Sometimes it's 6. That's why I said probably. It gets uncomfortable. At about minute 20, I want to get out. I'm hot. Again, I'm not suggesting you stay in there for 30 minutes. You should consult proper people before you start doing this. But I've learned, again, over time, when it starts to get uncomfortable, how do I respond? Because if we start to feel uncomfortable and we get out or we stop doing it, we're teaching our brain, as soon as we get uncomfortable, get out and avoid it. But I've trained my brain to stay in there for a little bit longer. And just the idea of, I don't really care. I'm in charge of my brain. I'm in charge of my thoughts, because my thoughts are leading my feelings, leading to my choices. I stay. But then the next thing that I do after I get out of the sauna, which I know it's a buzzword right now and people are talking about it a lot, but I actually go sit in an ice bath, an ice barrel basically, at 50 degrees for 5 minutes. Again, I'm not suggesting you do it for that long. I've been doing this for a while now. I don't really want to do that. I'm going to be honest. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it must be so great. You must love doing it. I don't love a cold shower. I don't love sitting in the ice bath, but I'm teaching my brain to do the hard things. I'm reminding myself that I have the power and the choice to do something, even if I don't feel like it in the moment. It actually builds more inner confidence and more strength to knowing that there's going to be another thing that I'm going to need to do when I don't feel like it. And so I'm going to do it anyway, because I've conditioned my brain that more I'm in charge of my own thoughts, not just relying on the feelings that I have to get out of there. And a third example that I have of this is in October of 22, my friend and I went out to the Grand Canyon. We hiked 48 miles. It's called rim to rim to rim. Probably not supposed to do this all the time, but I'm going to talk about it. 48 miles straight, 24 hours straight. No stopping. We stopped for water, ate bars and gels and different things along the way. I guarantee you, of that 24 hours, there was about 16 of it I didn't really want to keep doing, but I did it anyway. But I was ready and I was enduring, because you build some resilience when you do some things when you don't feel like it. I was doing those things, but there was a point at the bottom of the canyon. We had 9 more miles up the canyon to go. My knee was absolutely killing me. I was exhausted. It was pitch black, 1 a.m. I was tired. There was nothing about my feelings that was excited about going up. But what I did is I thought about the people that I made the promise to, that I was going to get out of that canyon safely. I added purpose to why getting out of there mattered. And sometimes, to be transparent, nobody's going to save you in the bottom of the canyon. There's rangers down there, but you only have one choice, and it's get out. So I really kind of eliminated all the other choices, had some different thoughts, but I also added purpose to what I was doing. And my thoughts about the people that I loved the most and cared about the most, and I promised that I was going to be safe and I was going to get out of that canyon, because the safest thing for me at that mark, at that time, was to get out, not to stay, not to get stagnant, not to stand still. So I had to move past my feelings of cold, hurting, tired, hungry, thirsty. I had to move past all that. And I had to hike 9 more miles up at the top of the canyon. But the only thing I thought about for those 9 miles were the people that I promised that I was going to get out of that canyon for. So if you find yourself in this sense of your feelings slowing you down, or your feelings preventing you from doing what you want to be doing, change the way you think, add purpose to these things, because then you will become somebody who does the hard things. They are hard things because most people won't do them. Most people, again, this is why we're listening, this is why we do this, they get stuck at their feelings. And I want you to have all the feelings and acknowledge them. Don't act like it doesn't hurt. Don't act like you always want to, because I think that's part of the problem. Is you listen to podcasts like this, or you maybe see some things on social media, you see all these people, and then you try to go do an ice bath and it hurts and it's uncomfortable and you think, I don't ever want to do that ever again. Well, I'm going to be transparent. I don't either. There's a lot of things I do that I don't really necessarily in the moment want to do, but I know it is good for me. And I know it's a habit that I need to create so that I can then keep more promises to myself, but also to the people that I love and the people I'm the most grateful for. There's going to be days where you don't feel like doing certain things, but when you move past that feeling, you're going to be able to show up for the people that you're the most grateful for in the most meaningful way. So it's not just about you. Your feelings are, but share your feelings. Say, I don't really want to do this, but I'm going anyway. Because again, when we talk about fitness, everybody knows this. Those days when it's easy is not the days you actually build courage and relentless pursuit and this kind of resilience to going to the gym every day. It's actually the days you don't want to is when you actually have the best workouts, because you then recognize I'm here and I don't want to be, but I'm doing it anyway. So it's just about doing it anyway. Move your thoughts to move your feelings to make choices that help you live the life you want to be living and the life you keep saying you want to be living. You'll have different feelings if you have different thoughts. You're always in control of the choices you make. So I hope this episode, again, it's just something I've had to overcome in my life as well. So I wanted to not preach this, but just share this back. Give you this encouragement of humility. Every single successful person you see has to do this. It's not like we just all of a sudden stop having the feelings of not wanting to do it. So just know that if you're having the feelings of not wanting to do it, that just means that you're actually doing hard things, and give yourself credit for that. Because that's important to understand, that the growth that we have through doing hard things is actually what's going to lead us to where we want to be. Take some time to give yourself some credit for doing the things that you didn't really want to do on the hard days. I hope this definition of discipline, of choosing what you want now versus choosing what you want most, inspires you. Take the word sacrifice out of that and just make it about choices, and have those choices reflect the feelings you have, and the feelings that you have reflect the thoughts that you have. You're always in control of the thoughts you have, which will then help you make better choices. And as I wrap up this episode, I just really want to encourage you to think about how this can apply to your life. And then also think about somebody else in your life that maybe you feel like they're stuck in their feelings, and maybe they were somebody that you started a habit with and then they stopped for whatever reason. And just meet them where they are and acknowledge that the feelings of not doing hard things is normal. It's human. It's part of it. Like our actual, the way that the way that we're built, we seek comfort. And so it's hard to sometimes move past that, but you always have the power to do that. And I'll wrap up like I always do, and this will sound familiar, but you always have the power and the choice to live with intention, reshape your mindset, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until the next episode, never stop.